Previously on Angel Star. I mean, it's not like subs and dubs are that different anyways. I think I just opened a can of worms, and that's why I'm hiding behind the static this time. Not only does it protect me from potential haters, but it also protects me from copyright.
Since the dawn of man, humanity has waged war against one another, saying that their side is the superior. I am of course referring to
Dubs or subs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm of course referring to people who prefer the dubbed versions of animes and people who watch subtitle anime. And since I've been watching anime for quite a long time, I really don't get it. Or I just stopped caring. Mostly because I just find the argument kinda dumb now. I don't really care either way whether I watch an anime dubbed or subbed. Both can be entertaining in their own right, and then there are moments that some where can be preferred over the other. With anime being supremely mainstream nowadays, you can literally get the newest seasons in English a week or a month, depending on the pandemic of course, in advance after it airs in Japan. Though there are studios who are dedicated on making both translations available or multiple translations. I usually watch the Japanese version mostly because it's the earliest, but I tend to look back at the dub version to see if there's any differences, and not really. Then I remember what caused the arguments of sub versus dubs. It's because dubs used to be bad. I'm of course referring to the bad English dubs from the 80s and 90s. Dubbing over anime was not really the easiest job back in the day, apparently. Translating from one language to another is not really one of the easiest things to do. Not to mention, not many people back in those days were familiar with other cultures. Well, not as much as they are now, thanks to the internet. So being faithful to the adaptation, or even following it to a T, is very important nowadays. However, English dubs were one of those situations where they had to alter some things for many times. And boy, was no one more famous at it than 4Kids Entertainment. You've probably heard of these guys and all the infamous dubs they've done. And I'd actually love to look back on the entire library of 4Kids dubs in the future, just to show you how much anime those guys had. But of course, nothing's more infamous than the One Piece dub, where 4Kids straight up did not give a flying not knowing that they would eventually have one of the most popular Japanese shows ever made, and they botched it royally. Eventually, as time went by, Funimation got the rights to the series and then dubbed it properly. We all know the story. And then 4Kids died. I'm gonna throw a very polarizing opinion right here, but I kinda miss bad English dubs. This is why my opinion vastly differs between subs and dubs nowadays. Modern English dubs nowadays tend to follow the anime to a T, and they usually air a week or a month after the original anime airs. This is considered a double-edged sword in my opinion. Even though studios get the rights to these specific anime, it's hard to tell which one's gonna be a really good one. So when they decide to dub an anime, they don't know whether or not it's gonna be fantastical or a complete garbage fire. And I think that's the beauty of having bad dubs, mostly because translations always can be drastically changed for the better or for the worst. Let's start off with for the worst. I mean, some modern dubs do some unique alterations, mostly for dialogue stuff, but then they do throw some controversial references. Two anime make this great example, and one of them is actually one of my favorites. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid being one of them, and Prison School's a garbage fire, so I'm not gonna even bother with that one. When you throw your opinions on a good anime, it tends to have a negative effect on that good anime, or even the people behind it. I don't think that one line of dialogue is going to ruin the entire series for me, I just thought it was just bad taste. Of course, altering the story drastically is another bad example, but I've already talked about 4Kids, as in the infamy with One Piece. But I should also mention that they've also done tons of other alterations to the series, such as changing tons of the stuff that they actually do, or even flat out banning specific episodes. I think there are some shows that I think could still do well if it followed the proper adaptation, and there are some that are just generally boring in both translations. There are multitudes of alterations you can do with any situation within a Japanese subbed or dubbed anime. One of my best examples is the name of the new Pokemon movie, Pokemon Coco. At least that's the name in the Japanese version. The English version is called Pokemon Secrets of the Jungle. And boy, does that sound super unoriginal. I mean, I don't have anything against the Pokemon dub, but every time I think the dub's gonna do something interesting or something as entertaining as the original Japanese version, which I think is probably one of the more entertaining ones, because they don't censor everything even in the modern time. Seriously, who still censors anime in 2020? Where's a kid gonna find a shuriken in America? Did they watch that South Park episode and think that kids are capable of doing that? And I get it, television in the US has a lot of rules and regulations. Japan is a little more friendly on that situation, only by a little bit. But when the new Pokemon series is now owned by Netflix, there's still some noteworthy censoring and also alterations to the story, as they don't use any of the original soundtrack for any of the anime. And the reason I'm a little more antsy on the Pokemon anime is because, well, the Japanese version's never been released outside of Japan. There is no real way that you can watch the subtitled version of this anime. You can only watch the dubbed version. Unless there's a streaming service I don't know about. Pokemon fans out there, is there a streaming service where you can watch the Japanese version of Pokemon legally? Leave it in the comments down below so I can know. I think it's time to change it up by saying what bad dubs can actually do for an anime. Now, a lot of people generally know bad dubs are genuinely bad, hence the name. But the thing is, unlike normal dubs that you see nowadays, they're kind of unforgettable. You can make tons of jokes about jelly-filled donuts, Blue Popo, the Spirit Blast, and of course, the infinite library that is One Piece. That's, I think, one of the biggest things about the 4Kids dub. It's kind of unforgettable, whether it was good or bad. It had some entertainment value that nobody thought would actually be investing, even though they cut out a lot of interesting stuff that was part of the original series. And sadly, it also did give us stuff like the One Piece rap. Another positive about English dubs is sometimes you also get some really kick-ass theme songs for the series. I mean, who could forget the Gotta Catch 'Em All rap, the Pokemon theme song, the Shaman King theme? And even though Digimon Frontier was not the best of the Digimon series, it probably had one of my favorite theme songs of all the Digimon series, even the original. And of course, I can't talk about the infamous of bad dubs, then Ghost Stories, an anime that was so borderline bad and boring that Japan wanted to get rid of all the DVDs of the series, and they told the English company to just do whatever the they want. And then they did, and they made comedy gold. I mean, you can watch Ghost Stories now, it's available on Verve, not sponsored by the way. I just generally like using the service. And Ghost Stories is just borderline hilarious on how much they altered the original source material. The original version was borderline boring and unoriginal and uninvesting, and, you know, the characters were boring. The English dub made them supremely unforgettable with the tons of references and jokes. It's basically a high production abridged series that nobody asked for, but it happened. One of the biggest issues that also came with dubbing anime is the fact that there was a massive difference when they got the rights to the series. A lot of time would have passed when you finally got the rights to use this anime. One of my personal favorites being Sergeant Frog. I both love the Japanese and the English version, mostly because I just love the characters in general, and I think it uses them in both versions really well. And the best part is you can watch both versions and still get some entertainment. Case Closed is another good example, and I kinda wish anime still did this. You could have a bad English dub that has noteworthy changes to the story and characters, and also follows Western media, and of course you can watch it in the classic Japanese style how it was originally written, and enjoy it how it is. Or even add an additional English dub that has the original material. Generally my personal opinion, but that probably takes a lot of time and voice actors. But hey, we still have English dub bloopers, those tend to be pretty funny. And that's why I kinda like bad dubs. It gave us something that was unforgettable and entertaining, and sometimes even made a series better than it originally was. I have nothing against subbed or dubbed anime whatsoever, I just think there's just more entertainment from watching a bad English dub. And don't get me started on dubbed hentai, woof. I ain't opening that can of worms. Now that I think I've given you my honest opinion about what I think about dubs and subs, maybe it's a little safer to come on out of the static. Well, I'm not dead, so I guess that's a good sign. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my honest opinions on dubs and subs. And if you're new to this channel and want to see more of my content, just subscribe and then ring the bell for notifications. And what are your favorite dubs or subs of anime? I'd love to hear your thoughts on some bad dubs, whether you hate them or love them or just think they're just okay. Every opinion matters, and I think it's always important to understand what makes what entertaining. Until next time, guys, bye-bye.